When artists discuss pen tablets, one brand always comes up. This brand has been developing Stylus-based input devices for years and are known for the quality of their hardware, which is why they're so popular. They are also known for their high prices too, but I'm a firm believer in you get what you pay for. We are of course talking about Wacom, and I've had the pleasure of working with them, as well as testing many of their devices over the years. With that said, I've also experimented with many other drawing tablets too, but to date, none have come close to stealing Wacom's crown. That is, if the internet is to be believed, all about to change. If you do a search for Xencelabs on YouTube, you will see lots of reviews claiming that they are nipping at Wacom's heels. But is this to be believed? Are they really that good? Well, these bold claims have me wondering if the hype is true. So when Xencelabs sent me their pen tablet medium bundle to try, I was eager to install it and start scribbling. So should Wacom be worried about the sudden rise of Xencelabs? Continue watching to find out. Unboxing. The bundle comes in a stylish box with a splash of yellow around the sides and the back, giving it a fun yet professional look. On opening the box, you first see a sheet from Xencelabs thanking you for choosing their device, which is a nice personal touch. You're then presented with the tablet. It's sleek, slim at just 8mm and smooth to the touch. Plus it's relatively light too, which makes it easier to move and carry around. It's very minimalistic with a power slider, USB-C charging port and a Kensington nano lock for added security around its edges. On the top you also have 3 configurable buttons, but more on these later. Digging deeper, we find a carry case, which is a great addition to the bundle. This is perfect for those times when you're travelling and you need something more secure to carry your tablet in. I was pleasantly surprised with the quality of this. It's thick and durable, with plenty of lined pockets to keep your tablet and accessories safe. Next we have the Quick Keys remote, and this is my favourite part of this bundle. Like Wacom's own Express Key remote, this is fully configurable. It's also larger, but this is to make room for the OLED display, which tells you what each button does. A helpful addition, especially when swapping between apps. Next we have another carry case, which reminds me of a glasses case. This is used to house the pen, and it does seem a bit big, but when you open it, you find not 1 but 2 pens. A 3-button version, much like Wacom's own Pro Pen 3D, and a slim version which has the standard 2-button setup. On the opposite end of each, Xencelabs have included the eraser, which is missing from Wacom's Pro Pen 3D. Having 2 pens at your disposal is great, because you may prefer one over the other, or you could configure them to work differently. Also included in the box are a series of extra nibs, both plastic and felt, as well as a USB Bluetooth dongle, which is needed to connect the devices to your computer, and a USB-A to USB-C dongle, just in case. There are the usual cables and manuals, but on top of everything else, Xencelabs have also thrown in a smudge guard. Unfortunately, it's slightly too small for my hand. I can still wear it, but it's a little tight. Still, this is a fantastic bundle, giving you everything you need to dive in and start creating, either at home, in the office, or while on the move. Setup. Setting up the tablet and the Quick Keys remote is very simple. First, make sure both are sufficiently charged, and then insert the dongle into the computer. Download the drivers from the Xencelabs website, and then follow the on-screen instructions. When you then power on the tablet and the Quick Keys remote, a blue light will flash to indicate that they are searching for the dongle. The remote even prompts you to install the drivers as a reminder. The blue light will then turn solid to indicate the devices are connected. The software will then detect what devices you have attached or connected and set them up for you. It's all very easy, and there are also some handy tips that pop up while installing. When done, you will see a list of the available devices, so the tablet, Quick Keys remote and the pens. They are then available to select and configure, something we will cover later in the review. The tablet. Let's look at the hardware now. The tablet is roughly 12 inches wide, 9 inches high and only 0.3 inches deep, with an active area of around 10 inches by 6 inches. This gives you plenty of room to work comfortably and I never felt like I was working on an area that was too small. The tablet is also light at just over 700 grams, so it's easy to carry around or work with in your lap, which you can easily do because it's also wireless. There are 3 configurable buttons across the top, and for an extra bit of flair, the corners of the active area light up. You can change the colour of these too if you prefer. On the back you have 6 rubber feet to prevent it from slipping, and as mentioned earlier, the power button is located along the top with the lights and the USB-C charging port. When working wirelessly, the battery is said to last 16 hours and take 2.5 hours to recharge from flat. I never got the impression that I was ever running low, but I did tend to top up the battery from time to time just out of habit. That's the specifics out of the way. As for the tablet itself, I was impressed with the overall build quality. It feels solid and sturdy, plus the way it's been designed means the seam which separates the top and the bottom is under the tablet. Sometimes when it's placed around the edge of the tablet, the seam can get clogged with dirt, and over time, on cheaper tablets, the top and bottom can start to peel apart. Overall, I liked the look and feel of the tablet and had confidence that with its quality it would last me a while and I wouldn't be looking to replace it in a year's time. The Stylus. This should actually read the Stylus because, as you know, Xencelabs are kind enough to give you 2 to choose from. A thicker 3-button pen, well 4 buttons if you include the eraser on the tip, and also a slimmer 2-button pen too, plus eraser. I think it's a good call adding the eraser to the tips on both pens. Wacom chose to remove it from their 3-button Stylus, something which I didn't personally mind because I never use that button, but I know some artists who saw it as a step back. There's no getting around just how similar the pens look to Wacom's, especially the 3-button pen. Even the hardware is the same, with them both utilising electromagnetic resonance technology. They also both boast 8,192 levels of pressure sensitivity, 60 degrees of tilt recognition, and are both battery free. In fact, they're so similar you can use a Wacom Stylus with the Xencelabs tablet. Then again, if you have a Wacom Stylus, you wouldn't need this tablet in the first place, would you? Let's focus back on the Xencelabs pens. To be fair, the design is good, so why change it? Both the slim and 3-button pen feel good in your hand. The rubber grip is comfortable and they have a little weight to them. The buttons have a satisfying click when pressed and don't feel spongy. I also love the case. Initially I was worried that it was a bit too big, but with everything that's nestled inside it, the size makes sense. On to the star of the show, the Quick Keys remote. I'm a big fan of these external shortcut remote controls, especially when working with a tablet. My main device is a 24-inch screen display, and to use it I need to slide my keyboard to one side. So a remote which gives me quick access to various shortcuts is an essential part of my kit. Add to this a dial so I can change my brush size quickly, and I'm in digital art heaven. Luckily, the Quick Keys remote covers all these bases and then some. Let's take a step back and look at it. It has a nice compact design which fits in the palm of your hand, meaning you can access all the buttons and the dial with just your thumb. Like the tablet, you charge it with a USB-C cable, and the battery is said to last anywhere between 25 and 50 hours. It can also be used while charging. On the bottom you have the same power slider button and indicator lights as the tablet. The underneath is covered in a thin rubber strip, which helps keep it in your hand or on your desk. When connected, the OLED display will change to show a helpful reminder of what each button is currently configured to do, and you can change these to suit your own workflow. I loved this feature, as I'm forever forgetting how I have the buttons on the Express Key remote set up, especially when swapping between applications. As with other similar devices, the buttons and dial can even be configured on a per application basis. So Photoshop is set up differently to ZBrush, for example. Don't worry though, because the software will detect what applications you have on your machine and apply a preset button layout for you. The configuration doesn't stop there. You can also change the labels to something more memorable and adjust their orientation if you're using the remote at a different angle. The ring has a nice fluidity to its movement, with the button in the middle used to again change its use. You can even adjust the light around the ring too, so the colour corresponds to a specific action or application. All in all, there are said to be 40 different shortcut options available to you, so more than enough for you to play around with. Configuration. As you can already tell, there are a heap of configuration options with this bundle. Through the Xencelabs software, you can set up each bit of hardware just as you want it, and it's relatively straightforward to do. With the pen tablet, you can adjust the colour of the lights around the corners of the active area, as well as change the brightness. You can also set these up so they are different depending on what software you are using. You have options here to configure the buttons, so we could define a keystroke, or a modifier if you just want it to represent Alt or Control, for example. There are lots of options to experiment with. With the 3-button pen, you can control the pressure sensitivity and also what each button does. You also have the option to disable the pen buttons or the tilt functionality if you prefer. There are advanced options to fine-tune the pressure, again to tailor it to your specific art style. You can do this for both the eraser and the main pen tip. The options for the thin pen are pretty much the same. And like everything else, they can be configured differently depending on what software you are using. Finally, we have the Quick Keys remote. There are 4 modes available to you when using the dial. So here you can see we can cycle through the ring scrolling the canvas, zooming in and out of it, rotating it, and finally adjusting the brush size, which is what I used it for mostly. Each mode has its own colour too. We have button options down here, and Xencelabs give you 5 sets to configure per application. You use the main button at the bottom of the remote to cycle through them. If I swap between the default setup, Photoshop and Maya, you can see that the buttons have been pre-configured for us with the most commonly used actions, which is a nice touch and a time saver. With Photoshop, you can see that this has 2 sets, one for sketching and another for painting. What's good is you can also rename the buttons too, so you aren't stuck with the generic names. These represent what is displayed on the OLED display. Finally, under Preferences, we have options for adjusting the screen area mapping, and when the tablet will be put to sleep if not used, which helps maintain battery life. All in all, the software is really good to use and set up. I had heard reports of it being buggy, but I didn't really notice anything major while using it, so I can only assume the bugs had been addressed in a recent update. The tablet in use. When I review a tablet, I like to set myself a project and use that tablet exclusively to see the project through to the end. I find this helps me get a more balanced overview of what it's like to use over a period of time. Before I settled in and started rendering this sketch, I did some basic tests to check the pressure and how accurate the lines were. I also wanted to compare the pen to the Wacom Stylus too, seeing as you can use both with the tablet. Here is a Xencelabs pen. As you can see, the pressure is coming through really nicely. We are getting faint lines and thicker, darker ones too. What I also noticed is there isn't much jitter when drawing lines, which is good. But these are quick strokes, so I wouldn't expect to find any major issues here. I'm switching to the Wacom Pro Pen 3D now. I can already see the pressure isn't the same. We seem to be losing some of the fainter parts of the stroke. So yes, you can use a Wacom Stylus with this tablet, but it doesn't seem to work as well. I also noticed that the button mappings don't transfer too. I also tried the ruler test, so you basically draw along a ruler and see how straight the line is. What I'm looking for are small jitters, which means the pen isn't drawing accurately, and this can occur with cheaper, more inferior tablets. First, the Xencelabs pen, and they look straight to me. I suspect those slight waves are me and not the pen. Now for the Wacom, and remember this isn't technically designed to work on this tablet. So, the lines are heavier, but also there's more of a wave too. Okay, enough on how the pen performs, let's cut to the chase. It performed really well. Now on to what you really want to know, what the bundle is like to use. It took me a while to get used to working on a tablet like this again, because I'm used to a pen display. But once I settled in, I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. The tablet, Quick Keys remote, pen and software all worked in harmony with each other. I did have a few issues from time to time with the pen not being registered when I swapped between applications, but this turned out to be Windows Ink, which I had disabled earlier in the Xencelabs software. Once that was enabled again, it was plain sailing from then on. Another issue I had was using the plastic nib. After my first hour of use, I noticed scratches on the tablet, which got me concerned. If it was this bad after an hour, what would it be like after a week, a month, or a year? Would it even last that long? I decided to swap to one of the grey felt nibs that are supplied, and they were much better and didn't leave a trace on the tablet's surface. All in all, I was impressed with the tablet, the pens and even the software. Should you invest? What Xencelabs have given us is a great bundle with everything you need to work digitally, be that painting, sculpting or working in 3D. Now it's certainly not cheap, but I think for the quality of the hardware and the software, it shouldn't be. So how does it compare to the competition? Let's look at the numbers. The Pen Tablet Medium bundle currently costs around £319 if bought direct from the Xencelabs website. Remember, this includes everything: the wireless tablet, Quick Keys remote, pens, carry case and glove, so everything you need. The closest Wacom tablet would probably be the Intuos Medium, which is around £179. Although the pressure sensitivity is lower at just 4096 levels, and it is a slightly smaller tablet. Add to this the Express Key remote at £99, the Pro Pen 3D, which is around £75, a carry case and a smudge guard, and you could be looking at around £370. So the Xencelabs bundle is still cheaper. In the scale of things, if you must have a Wacom device, you will be fine with shelling out an extra £50 and won't spend much time shopping around. Then again, if you're on a budget, the Xencelabs bundle is more affordable, and when it comes to quality, I didn't feel like it was an inferior choice. So, are the claims that Xencelabs is a viable Wacom competitor founded? Well, I must admit that with a bundle as good as this, you would be silly not to give the Pen Tablet Medium bundle, even with its long name, a second look. Okay, that's another review over. Thanks for watching right to the end, and make sure you also check out some of the other free videos and courses that I have. You can find links to all these on the screen now and in the description below. Remember, to help support future content and keep my courses free, visit the antCGi store or join the antCGi club. Alternatively, if you would like to just show your appreciation for these videos, why not treat me to a coffee at my coffee page? Again, the link is on the screen now and in the description below. Thanks again for watching. This is antCGi signing off, and I will see you on the next one.